Greetings everybody, this is Hyacinth Myers, founder of Empower 7, Women's Personal Development Program. Today I'm just going to be talking to you briefly about guilt and about not feeling guilty, really about saying no. We are in very unprecedented times at the moment, and sorry, I was just looking for my mic. Yeah, we are in unprecedented times at the moment, and what's happening is we're starting to get overloaded. So much things going on in the world. So people are on Zoom, especially non-stop, and that is actually something that's becoming, I think, a bit more of an infringement than people realised. So I'm talking to people, and they are having events, networking events, meetings. For myself personally, I am not on Zoom more than 2 to 3 times a week now. Otherwise it can get quite overwhelming and take up all of your time. So even though you don't have to travel anymore, you're ending up doing much more than you would physically do if you were out traveling. So really what I'm just talking about is just just really sticking to your guns in regards to feeling guilty about things, knowing that actually to say no is actually something you need to get used to doing, especially during this time. Even though people need support and your help, actually there's no one you can help after you've helped yourself first. And also just to remember that everything out there, really, you just can't physically do. You really can't do it. And if you try to do it, you're going to still end up suffering from burnout at home, which is probably just as bad as having burnout when you're actually at a job or you're working for yourself anyway. So I've actually just put down a note of 3 things to do, really, to reduce guilt. And I've actually put down to write down all the days off you have until September, and then block out those days, really, and just put full day off, whatever. I know at the moment it's a bit tricky. I'm looking outside and I'm thinking we're still not back to some kind of normality. I don't think we won't be back to complete normal, but we're still not back to a place where we can really just keep traveling, just go places, just book off days off and, travel and stuff like that. So we're going to have to be, we're going to have to find very different ways actually of having time off and time away from your house. Reduce or pause all unnecessary appointments actually until September. And that's something I personally have been doing myself. I think like many people, the first 2 to 4 weeks of lockdown, nobody really knew what to do. And so many appointments were cancelled anyway. No one knew what to expect next. After that time, people were still left in this state of limbo. But then I think once it got to about week 5 or 6, we saw our diaries starting to pick up again. People then started to move everything online, and then we started to become just as busy as we were before. So I'm actually saying reduce any unnecessary appointments, because I know some people have even come off of platforms where they are doing live online learning or live meetings because they're becoming overwhelming and they're becoming too much. So just to keep that in mind. And the last thing is actually to use quiet moments just to sing your achievement praises. And just to write down, even if you have to put it on a post-it note on your wall or somewhere, write down what it is you've achieved, because I think this time is a very tricky time. And if you don't write down some of the things you're achieving, you really will have forgotten what you've done during this period. I know, sorry, for many people this has been a time of great transition, including myself. I personally have been the most creative I have ever been in the last 20 years during this period of time, and just created non-stop. But I know if you ask me what I've created, I can reel off probably the last 4 or 5 things. But before that, I really can't remember. But I've got a lovely list of things that I can actually remember and celebrate. So every time I achieve something, I'm now celebrating. I think you should do the same. That's the only way really to just stay focused, realize that this is actually a blessing, and just to encourage you to go forward. So use this time to take away the guilt, to start to say no if you have to, and just to celebrate your achievements. So take care, stay blessed, and I look forward to connecting with you next week. Bye.